Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I'm going to talk about the evolution of accounts on the blockchain, because you know that everything is originated from the account that you have, whether it's an EOA or any kind of account that you have. And we are going to talk a little bit about that in the context of LUKSO also. We are going to scratch also everything, or at least some of the things that are related to this new standard that we have been hearing about for the past months, I would say, that is account abstraction, that is ERC-4337. All right. My name is Johann. I'm the lead DevOps at LUKSO. I have 3 kids. I think it's kind of a success story for me. I have 3 kids, and they are just completely great and awesome. I like skateboard, guitar, technology in general, and I really consider that everything that we are doing today, we can change the world a little bit, one block at a time, hopefully, and we can make it, definitely. So, all right, so what we are going to talk about today is we are going to review a little bit the basics about what is an EOA, what is a smart account, and why do we need a smart account, and what is the UP. I guess that Stephen went on and on about what is a UP, and I think that the description was very, very nice. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. On the second part, we're going to dive a little bit into the world of 4337, just to understand what it is and what are the advantages and benefits, and also the limitation that it brings. Then we will compare a little bit 4337 and Universal Profile. So let's start with the basics. What is an EOA? Who in the room knows what is an EOA? Can you put your hands in the air? Wow, okay. That's already a good number. So an EOA, it's an externally owned account. This is basically an account that is controlled by an off-chain set of keys, your public and your private keys. And what it means is that owning the private key means that you have full control over the account. It allows you to interact with the blockchain through a wallet manager, such as MetaMask. You can do everything you want on the blockchain. You can send an asset, you can receive an asset, you can hold your asset, interact with smart contracts, with a DEX, with any kind of liquidity provider pool or whatever. But you cannot attach or store any kind of metadata on it. You cannot have a profile picture, you cannot have a username, you cannot have all the good things that Stephen has been showcasing you just previously. And it's super boring. I mean, you are just a 0x in the middle of a ton of 0x. So yeah, you don't have a profile, you don't have identity, you don't have any kind of information that is attached. This is like the old way of doing account. On the other end, we have a smart contract account. What is a smart contract account or a smart account? Well, as the name suggests, a smart contract account is a smart contract. So it's code-based. And this is an account that can be controlled by an EOA, but it can be controlled by multiple EOA. Why not? It allows you in the same way to interact with the blockchain. You can send, receive, hold assets, but you cannot do that with MetaMask. MetaMask is not smart account ready. Other type of smart wallets, such as Argent, allows you to have those smart accounts. And it allows you to do even more than just interacting with the blockchain. You can allow for more complex features such as recovery, automation, and all that stuff that we were talking about just previously. You can attach and store metadata information. Your smart account is a smart contract, so you have a storage that is associated with it, so you can store a lot of information on top of that. And yeah, I think that smart contract account or smart account, they are representing the evolution of the blockchain account. They are representing the next stage of an account for an individual or a company on the blockchain. But it begs the question, why do we need those kind of accounts? Well, in the world of EOA, we are very limited. You saw that you have no metadata that are attached whatsoever. You cannot have a profile picture, background, your history, your information that are related to, I don't know, your identity, for example. It does have a weak security. On the EOA, if you lose your private key, you lose everything. And there is just one type of control. You have the ownership of the private key, you are the full owner of the wallet, of the account. And on the other end, we know that smart contract account or smart account are limitless. The only limit of the usage and the features that are embedded into a smart account is our imagination and what we want to offer to our customers or to the blockchain user. We have an information storage, so we can store the metadata attached to the profile. We can store also the assets that has been received, that has been transferred, or any kind of other information. We have an upgradable type of security, which means that if we want to allow one EOA to access our account or to have some privileges, we can do that. But if we want to add another one, we can also do that. It allows us to have a more fine-grained approach to the privileges management on an account. You can give, for example, access to editing the profile to the marketing team, and the finance team will be able to manage every assets that are on the profile, on the account. And it allows for more, I would say, 2023 type of features, such as automation, notification system that we all love on our phone. So what is a UP? I'm not going to go too much on that because I think that it will be a Reddit of what Steven just said, but just for the sake of presentation, the Universal Profile is a smart contract-based account. This is a smart account. We have a UP, it's controlled by multiple controllers, by the browser extension, by some DApps where we can fine-grain the privileges that will be associated with this account. It allows you to interact with the blockchain in the same way because it's a smart account, and you can store the metadata, all the information that you want on top of that. You can also extend its capability with plugins. There is still a lot of unknown that we have for the future. If tomorrow or in the next year there are additional features that we want to bring onto the Universal Profile, we can do that because we have a plugin system that allows us to do that. So yeah, this is definitely also the next generation of account. All right, why is it important to have those information in mind? We have on one end the type of account that are the EOAs that we found in the current system of the blockchain, and more are the smart accounts that are emerging, such as Argent, UP, and so on. So we have been heard a lot about 4337, and what is 4337, this new standard that will revolutionize the way that blockchain works and that will onboard the next 10 billion users. Well, let's keep it down a little and let's see exactly what is ERC-4337. So the first thing to know is that ERC-4337 proposes a solution to enable the creation and the management and the whole smart account that I've been talking about. This is absolutely not a standard that is a smart account. When we are talking about account abstraction and 4337, it's not a smart account. This is a way to have an infrastructure at the blockchain level, at the network level, that will enable the fact that smart account can emerge. But 4337 is not a smart account. The way that it works is pretty complicated, I have to say. That's part of the negative part also of the 4337 standard. It's not super digest and super easy to understand. I will try my best to give you a glimpse of how it works. So we have user operation. For example, I have an NFT that is stored onto a smart account. How I transfer this NFT to another account. So that's a user operation. My operation is the transfer of an NFT. Okay? In order to pass and to execute this user operation, I need to first verify that I have ownership of this NFT and that I have the right privileges to trigger the transfer of this NFT. So this user operation will be verified and then executed by a new network member that is called the executor or the bundlers, because they can bundle multiple user operations all at once. In order to do that, this executor will told through a secure channel to the entry point. That will be the entry point. That's a smart contract that will verify the operation and then execute the operation. Once it's done, it will refund the executor for executing this operation. This is really just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to deep dive into 4337, feel free to do that. There are more to know about it than just this, but this is really just a quick glimpse and a quick summary of what is 4337. Also, when talking about 4337, there are additional concepts to understand. One that is the Paymaster. Paymaster is relayer system that allows to subsidize the gas fee for you. So you are going to submit a user operation, transfer my NFT, but you are not going to have your smart account pay for the transaction. It will be another entity, that will be the Paymaster, that will pay for your transaction. This other entity, the Paymaster, can be based on the subscription model, such as Steven was explaining. You pay 10 euro or $10 a month, and then you have unlimited transaction fees. Or that can be from an ad viewing system, like you are viewing an ad, and once the ad is complete, then your transaction will be taken care of. An additional element of the smart account about 4337 is everything related to wallet creation. In order to create an EOA, you don't need to spend any gas. But when you want to deploy a smart contract or a smart account, you will need to deploy something. So the cost of creating a smart account needs to be bared someone, and the network needs to find a way to manage those smart account creation. So to do that, they are using something that is called a factory that are related to Paymaster, that are validated by Paymaster. That's really a whole topic inside this already existing 4337 topic, so feel free to deep dive into that. I did that. It's a nightmare to understand, and it's really not easy, but really, this is super interesting. Another thing that is super interesting is that we have a lot of people that will want to do user operation. For example, I will want to transfer an NFT, someone will want to trigger a token transfer, someone will want to put some money on liquidity pool or whatever. Those transactions, those user operations can be aggregated into just one big bundle, and that's why it's called the bundler that will handle that. And this bundle, instead of verifying each of the user operation, there is a concept that is named aggregate signature or signature aggregation that allows you to verify a bunch of those user operations in one go in order to reduce the cost. This is based off a cryptographic concept. This is also super interesting if you like cryptography. If you don't jump into that, because this is really a nightmare. But this is super interesting. And those elements, those notions, they come with 4337. So if you want to deep dive into this, feel free to do it. It's very interesting, and it will allow for the next generation of blockchain account. That will be the smart account. But again, there is a lot more underneath the surface to understand. So there are advantages and limitations for this smart account, for 4337 in itself. The list of advantages is that, of course, 4337 enables for smart accounts. It will make the blockchain life easier. Instead of seeing that 0x has been interacting with 0x, you will see that Savannah has been interacting with a contract with a right creator, where you have a set of information, a profile, a metadata. So you will be able to have something that looks more like a social interaction, a social network, I would say, rather than just seeing a bunch of transactions that is completely nonsense and gibberish for everyone. Another advantage is the flexibility that you have. The fact that you have a dedicated verification function and a dedicated execution function means that you can have a logic that is really just for your smart account or your account. If you want to allow a privilege management, such as what we do in the UP, or if you want to enable multi-signature, this is something that you will be able to do with 4337. It will also enable the Paymaster, which will bring another type of economy and another type of using the blockchain and interacting with the blockchain that we don't have today. Right now, you have to have some gas fees. The example from your parents' perspective and the interaction with the wallet is a very good example and a very good use case to see how complicated it is for anyone that is not blockchain related or blockchain knowledgeable to jump in the blockchain. This is a nightmare. Paymaster will help for the onboarding and to attract also less technical people onto the blockchain. There is a debatable concept that is the wallet upgradability that comes with 4337. For sure, a smart account is a smart contract, which means that all the patterns that exist for smart contract can be applied on a smart account. There is one pattern that is known as the proxy pattern that allows you to upgrade the implementation of a smart contract by changing the endpoint of this implementation, the address of the implementation. It means that you can also do that with a smart wallet. You can say that my implementation lies at this address, and if you find a bug or a new feature that you want to implement, you can deploy it onto the blockchain and point your proxy to another implementation. This is a good concept for smart contract. Is it a good one for smart accounts? This is up to you to decide. As I was saying, the flexibility in verification is also present at the execution level that can enable more complicated use cases and more complex features such as notification system, such as automation, and so on. So with this list of advantages, of course, we have on the other end a list of limitations. You probably all understood that the fact that your account is now a smart contract means that interacting with it can bring you a ton of new features that are awesome, that are super good, that are more user-friendly and so on. But the fact that you integrate those features means that each transaction will get a little bit more expensive. The gas fees and the transaction fees in itself, because you are accessing more storage, executing more opcode onto the EVM, will make the transaction more expensive. That's one of the limitations. Another limitation that is brought directly by 4337 is the fact that in order to be able to verify and to simulate the transaction, there is some limitation that makes you be able to execute only one transaction at a time. You cannot have a lot of transactions that are coming from the same wallet at the same time. You can still work around that by enabling atomic multi-operation. It's kind of a specific concept, but you can bundle multiple operations in the same transaction, but still you can only do one transaction per wallet at a time. The standard is complex, as you can imagine. The standard is, even for the smart contract team, even for the people that are working on 4337, they cannot all agree on the same thing, on the same solution for all the same problem. So it's complicated to integrate, it's complicated to understand and to grasp. This is kind of one of the limitations that you saw. If you want to integrate 4337 or create a smart account, you will have to go through that, and this is really not easy. And as I was saying, there is some limitation that the standard implement in order to have the verification, the simulation to be successful by limiting some opcode and by limiting some access to the storage. This is also a debatable situation and limitation, but it comes with it also. So now that we understand what is 4337, you know that it's a standard that proposes a way to enable the network to manage smart account, and we know what is a universal profile. Let's review a little bit a comparison that we can have between both. The first thing is, I'm sure that you understand, we are actually comparing orange and apples. 4337 is not a smart account. A UP is a smart contract, so that's completely two different things. There is similarities between the UP and 4337. For example, there is this concept of Paymaster on 4337 that we have integrated as a relayer at the UP level. So we have an entity that is subsidizing for the transaction fees. Those transaction fees will be paid by a Paymaster, or for us at the UP at LUKSO, it will be paid by the relayer. Also, this executor, the member that is in charge of executing the transaction in behalf of a smart account, is something that we have also, and that is embedded in the relayer logic, which makes both those systems centralized system. The bundler that is executing, that will take your user operation and that will execute it along with the relayer, are centralized services. The relayer is run by us at LUKSO, and every bundler that will emerge and come into the network for 4337 enabled chain will be a centralized system, which means that if you want to record the transaction or the user operation in a database without having the user or the smart account know about that, this is completely possible. This is one of the big risks that goes with centralization, as we all know. One thing that is good is that, as we saw, UP is not 4337, but we have been able to implement the 4337 logic with the verification step that is missing currently, in our UP environment inside a plugin that is an LSP17 plugin. This is the name of the standard, the LSP17. And we have this plugin that allows you to interact with the verify user operation function that is part of the 4337 standard, which is good. And yeah, 4337 is overall not fully ready. I mean, there is like maybe a handful of 4337 enabled network or 4337 smart account. And I mean, it's not ready, while on the other end, we are ready. We have the UP that has been launched. We have a browser extension that is available on testnet and mainnet. And we have a smart account that is available to you today. So what can you do with a UP? There is a bunch of things that has been already said, but I think that those are the really crucial and key features when talking about a UP. If you have to explain what you can do with a UP that you cannot do with an EOA, how are you going to do that? So I made the slide to facilitate your life. So you can customize it. You have a profile, you have a profile picture, a background picture, you have metadata information. All of this is thanks to an already existing standard that is present on Ethereum actually, and that is called ERC-4337. It can attach a storage with your metadata, with your information directly onto another contract. You can have a fine-grained privilege management. In a world where you can have a company that will join the blockchain, this is super awesome and super useful. You can have the marketing team in charge of the profile, and they will not be able to do anything else than changing, editing, updating the profile. And you can have the finance team that will be in charge of managing tokens. So having this privilege management embedded into your profile, into your smart account, is definitely something that we want to have. It gives you more flexibility as a company or even as an individual to give access to specific parts of your smart account. There is no transaction fees. That's awesome. You can just go and say, hey, there is a free mint on LUKSO, and that will be a reality. That will be actually free. You don't have to pay for the transaction fees. You don't have to go to the exchange and get some money, transfer to ETH or to leaks and to put. No, there is the relayer system that works with a quota. So every month you have a specific amount of gas that you can use, and voila, you can interact with, I don't know, social application, free mint, NFT, and stuff like that, and you don't have to pay for that. There is a social recovery system in place also, so you can register your email address, for example, and we have a very complex yet super effective way of managing the recovery system, where you provide your email, and if you lose your account and if you lose access to your browser or the browser extension for whatever reason, you can recover this account at any time. And normally this is supposed to work when I click on the button. Yeah. You can automate specific behavior. So I'm a DevOps, okay, I'm lead DevOps. I'm absolutely not smart contract engineer. I'm very curious about everything technology related. And I love automation. That's what put me at the DevOps position in the first place. So automating behavior is really something that is actually missing from the blockchain ecosystem. You want to, when I receive, I don't know, 5,000 USDC, I want to, for example, send 1,000 USDC to my wife because of reason. Or I can put a percentage of this amount that I receive to a specific vault or onto a specific other account. And this automation is made possible because we do have this standard that is the LSP1 Universal Receiver, and that's an awesome standard. It allows you to create this automation. And additionally, it also lets you create a notification system where every time someone will send you an NFT or token, you can have a notification system that will listen to the right event on the blockchain, and that will notify you by saying, hey, you just received 5,000 USDC from this specific contract or this specific universal profile. We have also extendability. This whole universal profile is probably currently running at 100% of what it can do, but let's say that in the next 6 months of 1 year, maybe there are some elements that we would want to implement, like a new feature on the universal profile. We have this LSP17 standard that is handling exactly that, being able to add a plugin onto an already existing smart account so that you can add any kind of additional features that you want on it. So really all those those features that you can do with your UP that you cannot do with a externally on the account or the current type of account that we have, they are in general just making the blockchain a more human readable place and environment. So we can onboard new users, people that doesn't know anything about blockchain, and we can also bring a solution to the current problem that we have in terms of user friendliness and usability on the blockchain. And that's it. Thank you very much.